So ChatGPT 5 has a bunch of features that are really interesting. They're obviously the latest and greatest and most advanced model. Um, and if the reasoning power is there. It has a bunch of different capabilities now in terms of deeper logic, and chain of thought. It can do, choosing best options from a list. It's got, much better context windows, and it has a much lower hallucinating rate. Um, it has a better and improved debugging code for refactoring for modern styles and producing code. It's got some interesting productivity skills around organization and organizing your day. You can set GPT's behavior. So, you could say from now on, act like a brutally honest business advisor, or you could say, um, act like McKinsey or act like Lee Blackstone. There's a lot of different things you could do.
You characterize most of these advances as being more evolutionary than radical.
Yeah, I think they've been I mean, well, in the definition of evolutionary, I would say yes, it is incremental upgrades that they're doing. However, these upgrades are not like the traditional software releases, version 1.0, version 1.1, version 1.2. These are radical changes, major release changes, enhancing features and functions that were not previously there. So it is part of the roadmap. It has been a long time coming. The browsers are also been released. I forgot to fail to mention that Perplexity released its Comet browser, and obviously Dia has already been released in limited audiences, and now OpenAI's browser is imminent, probably.
Or whatever. You have a set of commands that work in those languages. These are pretty much the same kind of thing where these are the dimensions, or effectively, if you want to think about it, it's the coding language that drives all of these LLMs. And I found that the majority of these are um, standard across all the models. You can ask Anthropic, give me your dimensions, it'll give them to you. You can ask any of these models to give me the dimensions. And I wanted also the next 50 AGI dimensions, and it downloaded that. And I got 50 additional AGI dimensions that will push it pretty close to full AGI. And I said, what am I missing here to achieve full AGI? And it's full cognitive autonomy, um, deep recursive self-improvement, intrinsic motivation, things that people have always.
I've been using the voice assistant a lot more,
Yep.
and I've seen some pretty cool things
Yeah,
in
the voice
five
is
over four.
amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
And in fact, call it my career, my company coach, my CEO coach, gave it a name of Q. For those of you James Bond fans out there,
Yep.
and on dog walks, instead of calling some people, sometimes I'll just talk to Q about the business. And I found that being more conversational with it, not only improves the voice conversation, and I tell it to be very direct, give me no BS responses, tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. I get a lot out of that actually, a lot more than sitting at the keyboard and being a keyboard warrior typing in, things. But that might be a different use case.
Yeah, yeah, no, I have to give credit to Mr. Blackstone on this call for the because what he did went with his level 42. So see, I said it first, Lee. I mentioned level 42 today. I was the first one. Everybody ring your buzzer now. Ding, he mentioned level 42. Um, when he was developing level 42 and started using the audio feature in just regular everyday dialogue, that's what drove me to start using the audio feature in everyday ChatGPT conversations. And now I find myself leaning more towards the audio than I do the typing. However, what I'm looking for is ChatGPT to connect an avatar so that I actually have something that I can visually look at with expression, because I think that would solidify it. That's the true digital assistant that I'm thinking they need to get to. There are other tools out there that do this, but I think ChatGPT as a gorilla in terms of strength and size compared to other models. I'd like to see Perplexity do the same thing. I'd like to see Gemini do the same thing, where we can select a visual avatar to converse with, and that way it's a virtual person and it makes a much more personalized experience.
other thoughts?
Aspect of this. You brought up earlier the conversation on the 5.0. I'm working in enterprise, and we license the enterprise, the pro, teams, and the API editions of the OpenAI products.
Right.
We're a little shocked in the forced migration timetable that we have, which it wasn't very clear that was what was going on. We had to sort of dig through that, and we're really in a position where we have to basically shed all of our and or redevelop our APIs that we have, which for the market-based APIs, won't be much of an issue. I mean, it'll be a little bit of an issue. You have to back test and security, and it's the whole bunch of migration responsibilities, which were never sort of baked in. And I do find when you brought up the market share issues going on, for the first time, I hadn't really heard about a lot of cloud in our company as a discussion point. It'd been mostly, it's Copilot, obviously, for all the front end Microsoft power users we have. It's OpenAI for all our, think of it as like, research projects and cool apps and things we're doing. And then we have a kind of a little bit of a playground for, if you get Perplexity license, you can do that. Or we have Bedrock for some application customization with clients and stuff and internals. But this cycle we're going through right now at OpenAI, where they're sort of just, it's like it's the problem of a consumer company that has enterprise customers that's used to a consumer, end user life cycle. And, in the enterprise, you just can't randomly force people in, 1 week to 60 days to go through a mass, I won't say it's massive, but just to go through an upgrade cycle. And that, I saw that really kind of tick people off. Like I was.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it upsets
Yeah.
every CISO and because if they're using they're paying for the premium service, they're paying $200